Yeah, really happy to be here at the RUC Sports Film Festival. I mean, what can I say? It's the first time it's been, such a sports festival for movies has been, conducted in Chennai, and really happy to be here and wishing RUC the very best in all their endeavors. And what can I say? I'm sure you all liked the movie, and actually it's based on a real life F1 driver, but of course it's dramatized a bit. But I really enjoyed the movie.
Okay, that was going to be my first question. So why don't you take a seat so we can talk about it. Also, don't worry, we'll open up to the audience for some questions if you have anything to ask, probably at the end. Hello. So you said that it was dramatized a little bit. So how much was true?
Well, Formula One is a very, very tough sport. It's the pinnacle of motorsport, and it's always been a big challenge to be there. You're one amongst the 20 special drivers in the world, and it takes a lot to get there. A lot of hard work, and from backgrounds such as ours from India, you need to work even more harder to get there. And now you're in the public eye much more than what when I started with all the social media and everything. So it's an extremely tough sport physically and mentally, and driving is only 10% what you do outside the car, and the financial backing and so many other things that go with it, the right brakes, the right team. I can go on forever, but I said it's a little bit dramatized because Brad Pitt's team was placed very lowly on the grid, but then they do a lot of bend the rules a little bit, and that is not possible. So yeah, that was a little bit dramatized, but overall I think it was a great movie. And as I told you, it's based on a real life Formula One driver, Martin Donnelly, who had a very bad accident in 1990, and he was potentially a world champion, they said. And so unfortunately he couldn't come back like what the movie portrays. But nevertheless, it's much of it is quite accurate, and it's very well made, and you see all the work that goes into it. It's a team effort, huge team effort.
It was a really well made movie, I can't deny that. And also you were a design developer for a while, and how did that help you being a racer? And I'm sure it was.
Well, I do a lot of work with Tata Motors.
Yes.
Basically benchmarking and the dynamics of the new cars. So how this happened was Mr. Tata was supporting my Formula One program, and he was on the board of Fiat, and he saw one Michael Schumacher do a lot of work for developing the road cars. So he came back and got me involved with the Tata group, Tata Motors, to do a similar kind of role. And we are part of the vehicle engineering team, which specializes in the dynamics of the Tata platforms. And I've had this role since 2008, and it's well over 18 years now, and continuing. So very, very happy. And as I told you earlier, sponsorship is something that is crucial for a driver, especially for drivers from our country, because the sport itself, the barriers are, firstly, whether it be two-wheeler or four-wheeler racing, it's such an expensive sport, because the equipment, you need to get the best equipment, and motorsport is a specialized form of the equipment is all high-tech, space age, so for safety and so many other reasons, it's expensive. So in my case, I had the support, I still have the support of the Tata Group, and sponsors are the most critical, crucial. Now, as I told you earlier, there's so much more coverage, and for motorsport, Netflix has done a great job in promoting Drive to Survive. So suddenly everybody is watching Formula One. So there should be more potential sponsors and so on.
Now, since you spoke about the sport being very expensive, a lot of my friends, youngsters who are really interested in the sport, they don't know how to go about it because you need, like you said, you need a lot of backing. Probably start from the family, or you need to have a lot of money to invest in it. So, what do you think is the advice that you could give, or guidance that you could give for it, for people who don't have the financial backup but to be interested in the sport?
Yeah, so there, especially in two-wheeler racing, that is developed quite well. There are a lot of one-make series. Of course, in four-wheeler racing, the kindergarten of motorsport is go-karting, and there is an Indian championship which has a bit of competition, and then some drivers from here, from India, are we have Rivan Dev here, who's a potential world champion in go-karting. He's 12 years old, and I'll talk a little bit about him. So he started out. His father used to be one of the best two-wheeler riders, and he was multiple champion. And of course, they had an exposure to motorsport, and that's how he started. And he's become extremely good talent. But now he needs to progress to Europe. So that is that's where one has to hone their skills. And for that, of course, the family is doing whatever they can, but then the corporate world also needs to push him through. And this is one of the brightest young talents we have, and hopefully his journey is much easier than mine, because I was the first guy, but now, as I told you, I'm sure there will be a lot more support, and we should all help to push the next potential Formula One driver from our country.
Okay, like you said, the go-karting was one of the first steps for the racers to practice. But in India, I think we had a disadvantage of not having the right kind of training. Other racers from other countries had extensive training background. So how do you see that? Will it change now?
Yeah, it's changing. It's changing quite a lot. Of course, I didn't start in go-karting. I started straight away racing in single-seater. So I had a huge disadvantage for the first few years. But then you adapt, and when you're so hungry, you want to be successful, then you adapt to whatever the challenges are. So really, I believed in myself, and I went and started driving in the Formula 2 Championship in England. There was a lot of competition. Senna, so many other Formula 1 drivers had driven this championship. And when I started winning there, then I believed then I had what it takes. I had what it takes to go to Formula 1. Yeah, it definitely wasn't a walk in the park. It was extremely difficult. Plus, it's a European dominated sport end of the day. So of course Lewis is different, and he should have gone through so much of hardships to get to where he is. Of course, in England, I felt a lot of people believe that we are not meant to be here in this sport. It's a very elite sport, and that's how it was 20 years ago, 25 years ago. But now things again, the world is opening up, and so there's a lot of inclusion, and so it's slightly better than what it was, but it's still very, very tough. Yeah.